Well, good evening, afternoon, morning, whatever time of day you happen to be watching it. For me, it's 7 p.m. at night, and I've had a horrendously busy day today. Uh, a meeting this morning lasted, you know, 4 times longer than I anticipated it lasting. And I mean, I still have like 4 or 5 hours of work, and I haven't taken a break since I got out of bed at 3:30 the second time. I actually got out of bed at 2:30 the first time, and then put my videos up on Facebook, and went back and laid down. Didn't fall asleep again. Got up at 3:30, and I've been up running ever since. And at the rate that I'm going, if I choose to get everything done that I need to do that's on my plate, I probably won't go to bed before midnight, and hopefully by midnight. And I have a huge busy day tomorrow, so there's no relief. Anyway, oh, the title that I finally selected today, and I say finally because I didn't really think about it too much. It sort of just jumped on me, and I realized I've got to get a video out. But the title is Courage to Tell the Truth as I See It. And the blurb I wrote goes like this. I hardly thought about a topic during my busy day today. Then someone sent me a polite criticism saying that I should only focus on positive things. I replied, I will continue to speak the truth, all of it. The only bad or negative truth is that which we choose to ignore. When I began making these daily videos more than 1,000 days ago, I vowed to myself that I would be in integrity every day, expressing from my heart. And to me, integrity is about integration, not separation. I see the reason that we are in the situation we find ourselves in this world is because so many have not had the courage to be authentic, choosing to only put their best foot forward instead of telling the whole truth. Life is not all roses. There are thorns. I'm not stuck. I embrace all my emotions and see that as the greatest gift I have to offer in a world that frowns on authenticity and runs away from truth. This has probably been the biggest criticism I have faced in my life, certainly over the past decade, since I began to discover how the world really was, with 9/11 and all of the other things that I learned with the lawsuit that I had to deal with, and learning law and learning about how the world really is. And I've been criticized a lot in the spiritual community by people that think you should only focus on positive things. And if you focus on negative things, you only strengthen them. I've talked about this before. And folks, it's the very reason that, as I said in the blurb, that we are in the situation that we find ourselves in, is because people will not face the truth. There is willful blindness among many, many people. They will not, they tend to want to label something as negative, and therefore, since I choose to be a yes person, I choose to be a positive person, I'm going to separate myself from that. I don't want anything to do with that. I'm going to focus only on what I want. That is new thought, new age bullshit. Pure and simple, as I see it. That is the reason the world has never gotten better than what it is. Because people have refused to look at what needs fixing. Refused to address the real issues. I agree with this person who wrote me this. And it was actually well written and fairly nice. It was polite. It wasn't rude. And it was expressing a point of view. And it ended with, shine the light on the change for a change. Love you, Ron. Your passion is electrifying. Well, it's electrifying because it's authentic. I mean, I've heard a lot of good speakers do positive messages, but and this is what a lot of the channeled messages. It's what Abraham why Abraham turns me off. I mean, there's a lot of good things that Abraham says, but Abraham refuses to look at the negative things, the things that need fixing, refuses to acknowledge that we live in a world based on lies, refuses to acknowledge that we live in a world of fraud, that our whole structure, from our religions down to our politics and to the way that we run our corporations and our commerce, everything is a lie. The medical system is a lie. The education system is a lie. It's all lies. It's all fraud and deception. Until we acknowledge that and move into the truth, we will never change a thing. We will remain prisoners, even if we might develop happiness, like happy prisoners. You know, prisoners that can somehow create joy for themselves by creating the illusion that there is nothing bad, because they're only focusing on what they want to see and not what they don't want to see. That's the problem with our world. That doesn't bring solutions to anything. I try my best to find solutions, but you can't find a solution to something, a problem that you don't acknowledge exists. You cannot solve an issue, resolve an issue that you won't even acknowledge in the first place. You can't do it. It's impossible. You can't correct something by ignoring it. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Now, if you think it does, show me where you've made it work. But show it to me on a big scale, not some little scale. Show me where you've changed a company around by only focusing on the positive and never dealing with any of the issues that come up among human beings that work together. That you only focus on the good things. Whenever anything negative happens, you just ignore it. Show me the company that you've been able to do that in, that has more than 10 or 15 employees. I'd like to see one that has 5 employees that can work like that. It won't work. I don't even think a marriage can work that way. I don't think any relationships can work where you don't acknowledge the issues. And maybe I'm barking up the wrong tree. Maybe some of you people, you want so bad to have a positive world, but you create it. And the second sentence in the letter was, that is only an airy-fairy concept if one chooses to be limited. Oh, really? Really? Airy-fairy concepts are concepts that don't look at the whole thing. They're these channelers, these channeled messages that only focus on good stuff, things that they label good. I mean, I've had people in my house that teach Course in Miracles and stuff like that, and they don't understand that they are living in a world of total separation. They have bought into separation totally. They separate themselves from everything that they don't want. And they think that's unity. Give me a break. That's not unity consciousness. That's not healing. That's not wholeness. That's not integrity. That's not truth. That is delusion. That is airy-fairyville. You can be there if that's where you want to be, but you're not helping the world heal. You're not bringing peace to the earth. And you say, Ron, are you bringing peace to the earth? If you only knew. If you only knew the things that I'm doing to try my best to bring peaceful solutions to the planet. Some of the things that I'm involved in, I can't say because it's not time yet. And it's not because I'm inauthentic or don't want to be transparent. It's because there's other people involved. But there's a lot of people in this world, and I want you to hear me. There's a lot of people in this world that are actually doing things to create new systems of governance, new systems of healthcare, new systems of commerce, new systems of religion, where religion is about being honest and authentic instead of just, mouthing nice sounding platitudes. We're trying our best. Many of us around the world are actually doing something, creating plans to activate in the world that will change things for the good and make everyone the beneficiary that chooses to work in integrity. Now, people that want to maintain the status quo of the fraud system, there's going to be a price to be paid for that, because it's going to have to, the new system is going to have to be common law. And common law is about truth. Common law is about not hurting anyone, not causing loss, and not violating the free will of anybody else. Now, in that system, we're going to have some rules for safety. Like, I'm not in favor of not having any rules of the road, for example. I mean, it would be pretty chaotic if everybody just drove however they wanted. There has to be guidelines of how we're going to conduct ourselves in a society. But our system in the world, these are all privately owned corporations, and it's all about making money. That's one of the things that's really, really rotten and wrong with the world. That needs to be addressed. And ultimately, there are people working on systems that we don't need money anymore. And these are beautiful, beautiful communities that are being developed, at least in an embryonic form, to move into the world and to expand into many areas. But before we get to all that, we have certain things that we have to deal with. That's what I said in the video that aired today, that I recorded yesterday. The only way that we're going to be empowered and enriched is when the people that want to keep the old system running get out of the way. And that's the truth. As long as they're going to keep operating the fraud system, there's not going to be empowerment. There's not going to be enrichment. People are not going to find health and freedom and the joy that we want, and creativity is going to continue to be thwarted. There has to be the release from the bondage and the jailers, the prisoners, or not the prisoners, but the jailers that jail everybody else in the current fraudulent system. You need to know that, folks. You need to be aware of what's going on. You can't just focus on positive stuff, because you will not fix anything. You're not living in truth, and you're not in integrity when you do that. And I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm only trying to present to you what I have learned over the course of my life. And believe me, I've done the positive affirmation stuff. I've done all of the new thought stuff and all the new age things. I've tried them on for size, but the only thing that I think is going to ever work is authenticity. Telling the truth. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free, but first it's going to piss you off. Now, if you've not gotten pissed off yet, you haven't even begun to grow, because you're clueless about the world that you live in. If you understood the world that you live in and you don't get angry about it, there's something wrong with you. You're not in a healthy frame of mind. I don't care what your religious precepts and concepts and practices are. It's not healthy. It's not wholeness. It's not authentic. It's a mask. It's a facade. It's a charade. It doesn't do the trick. It doesn't provide the necessary grounding to actually bring about a world that can honestly work for everyone. And honestly working for everyone has to come from a place of truth. It has to acknowledge the thorns on the rose bush, not just the roses. The roses are beautiful. I love beauty. I love gratitude. I express gratitude a lot. A lot. I express gratitude for so many things in my life. Not every day, but regularly. Because I do appreciate that my car serves me. I do appreciate that my appliances serve me. I do appreciate that my house serves me. I do appreciate that the water in the ground nourishes me and cleanses me, and I bless the water from the aquifer all the way up through the well to the pump to the plumbing and out the faucets. And when I drink it, I'm blessing the water. I don't, every time I take a drink of water, consciously think, oh, thank you for this. But I frequently think, thank you for this. And I thank my body and all the cells in my body for serving me. Because everything in the world is here to serve me, and I am part of this whole beautiful structure, and it's a beautiful thing. But I'm not going to ignore the things that need attention, because they are crying out, help, help, help. Can't you hear the cries of the people that are hungry, the people that are tortured, the people that are falsely imprisoned, the people that are victimized by other people in the name of government? The government is the biggest abuser of human rights on the planet. And the United States government is the worst one. Not the best one, it's the worst one. Face the fact. This is a criminal culture that we live in, and the criminals are running the show. The most insane people are the ones in charge of the asylum. It's crazy. Wake up. It's not about throwing rocks, because I wish that everybody would come home. Everybody. The elite, the psychopaths. I wish that everybody would come to the place where we would learn how to cooperate with each other, stop competing, stop lying, and just simply tell the truth. Be real. Be authentic. And when we do that, we'll change the world. And people that are unwilling to do that, they need to be taught. Somehow the message needs to get through. And it's not my job. I'm doing the best I can, and other people are doing the best they can to wake people up. But ultimately, it's your decision and the decision of each individual. Are you going to hear the cry? Are you going to pay attention to the wake-up call? It's up to you. It's up to everyone. That's all I'm going to say tonight. And I have a lot of work ahead of me. Namaste.